Welcome, my dear viewers, to another tale of terror and dread. Tonight, we delve into the dark history of a seemingly innocent object, a doll that harbors a curse so powerful it has ruined lives and claimed souls. This is the story of the cursed doll and the malevolent spirits that dwell within it. In the small town of Ravens Hollow, there was a toy shop unlike any other. It was run by an elderly woman named Mrs. Abernathy, known for her skill in crafting the most beautiful dolls. But there was one doll that was never for sale, a porcelain doll with striking blue eyes, golden curls, and a dress as white as snow. This doll was different. It was cursed. Mrs. Abernathy created the doll many years ago, pouring her heart and soul into every detail. But as she finished the doll, she felt something shift in the air, a dark presence that seemed to settle within the doll itself. From that day on, strange things began to happen in the shop. It started small, whispers in the night, objects out of place, the feeling of being watched. But soon, the incidents grew more sinister. Customers who visited the shop began to feel uneasy, reporting chills and a sense of dread whenever they neared the doll. Some even claimed to hear the doll whisper their names. One day, a young girl named Emily visited the shop with her mother. As soon as Emily laid eyes on the doll, she was captivated. Despite her mother's protests, Emily insisted on having the doll, pleading until Mrs. Abernathy reluctantly agreed to sell it. As Emily walked out of the shop with the doll in her arms, Mrs. Abernathy's warning echoed in her ears: "Take care of her, or she'll take care of you." At first, everything seemed normal. Emily loved the doll and took it everywhere with her, but soon her behavior began to change. She became withdrawn, often talking to the doll in hushed tones as if it were a living friend. Her parents noticed bruises and scratches on her arms, but Emily insisted she was fine, that the doll was protecting her. As time went on, the situation grew more disturbing. Emily's health began to deteriorate, her skin growing pale, her eyes hollow. Her parents, desperate for answers, sought help from a local priest. But when he tried to bless the house, the doll's eyes seemed to glow with an unnatural light, and a violent wind tore through the room, forcing him to leave in fear. The priest warned the family that the doll was not just cursed, but possessed by a malevolent spirit, one that sought to claim Emily's soul. He urged them to destroy the doll before it was too late. But when Emily's father tried to burn the doll, the flames seemed to recoil, refusing to touch it. The doll remained unscathed, its eerie smile intact. As Emily grew weaker, the presence of the spirit became more pronounced. Shadows moved on their own, and the house was filled with the sound of footsteps echoing through empty halls. The doll would appear in different places, even though no one had moved it. It was as if the spirit was taunting them, reminding them that it was always watching. With no other options, Emily's parents returned to the toy shop, the cursed doll in tow. Mrs. Abernathy's face grew pale when she saw the doll, but she knew what needed to be done. She led them to the basement of the shop, where an old, ornate chest lay covered in dust. Inside, she revealed a set of ancient symbols and a vial of holy water. Mrs. Abernathy explained that the doll was a vessel for a vengeful spirit, one that had been bound to the physical world by a curse. She began a ritual to trap the spirit once more, but the air grew thick with malevolence. The lights flickered, and the room shook as the spirit fought back, unwilling to be confined again. With a final, desperate chant, Mrs. Abernathy completed the ritual, sealing the spirit within the doll. The room fell silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting as the doll's eyes dimmed. The curse was contained, but Mrs. Abernathy warned that it was only temporary. The doll needed to be locked away, never to be touched again. The doll was placed back in the chest, sealed with the ancient symbols that had held the spirit at bay for centuries. Mrs. Abernathy vowed to keep it hidden, far from the hands of the innocent. As for Emily, she slowly recovered, but the experience left her haunted, her once bright spirit dimmed by the horrors she had endured. The cursed doll remains locked away, a relic of a dark past that refuses to be forgotten, But as long as it exists, the spirit within waits, biding its time for the moment it can break free once more. So remember, dear viewers, some toys are meant to be left alone, for the price of playing with them may be your very soul. Thank you for joining me on this chilling journey. If this story sent shivers down your spine, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more tales that will keep you awake at night. Until next time, sleep with one eye open.